Hi guys, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, my name is Carmen. Welcome. Have you been wanting to communicate over with the spiritual world, but you don't know exactly how to do this, or you would like some guidance to help make your connection stronger? I'm going to show you exactly how to do that today in this video. And we're going to use numerology to do that, because numerology really does help to show you what is the best way for you to communicate with spirit personally, right? Because it's going to be different for everybody. And that's because everybody is made up of different energies, right? And we can determine what kind of energy you are made up of based on the numbers in your chart. So yes, we can absolutely use numerology to help you to connect over to the other side. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that today in this video. So who exactly can connect over to the other side? Is it only a few numbers that can do that? No. Anybody can connect over to the other side. Everybody has this ability, and everybody can develop it if they choose to do so, okay? So what that means is that you don't have to have certain numbers in your chart, in your numerology chart or your astrology chart to be able to communicate to spirit and to the other side, okay? Or to develop your psychic abilities. I did a video a couple of years ago on how to use numerology to determine if you are psychic, and you can check that video out. I'll put a link to it below in the description box. But basically, in that video, I say that everybody has this ability and they can develop this if they want to. Now, there are certain numbers that are more in alignment with the frequency of communication with the other side, right? So for those specific numbers, if you have those numbers within your chart, usually in that situation, it's because it's a life calling for you, right? If you have those numbers, then you will probably be more interested in doing that because it's probably one of your purposes, or it's something, a gift that's been given to you. But like I said, everybody can do this, and we can use numerology to discover exactly what is the best way for you to do this. And in the future, everybody will have these abilities, and everybody will be able to connect over to the other side very easily. And over the next 10 to 20 years, you will see that these abilities in many people are going to start to grow and become very, very strong. And many people are going to develop these in the future. The first thing you need to do when you're trying to connect over to the other side is you need to trust that the messages that you're going to be receiving are real and not just something that you're making up. If you don't have this trust, and if you have this disbelief, that's going to mess everything up, because the whole purpose of connecting over to the other side is trusting. You're trusting in something that you don't have any physical proof of, right? So there's no physical proof that you're actually doing this. Society wants to tell you that you're crazy if you have these gifts and these abilities and if you're able to do this, because they want to keep you in a box, right? They want to keep you in a box, and they don't want you to realize how powerful you actually are and that you are connected to the divine at all times. At all times, you have a connection to spirit. It's there, and you can tap into it at any time. And the society does not want you to know this. So they want to tell you that you're crazy or that you're making things up. When you start tapping into and using your extra perceptual abilities, right? Your ESP. So that's key, is you have to trust that whatever you're being given is real. It's not something you're making up. Second of all, you need to be feeling good when you try to connect over to the other side. You need to be in a state of a higher vibration, basically, because what happens when you connect over to the other side is you have to raise your vibration, but spirit has to lower Spirit has to lower its vibration to meet you, because the physical world is much lower in vibration than the spiritual world, right? Doesn't that make sense? They're on a much higher vibration than we are. So to connect to us, they really have to lower their frequency, and it's easier for them to connect to you if you have raised your frequency as much as possible so they can meet you halfway. So don't try to connect over to the other side if you're in a state of anger or frustration, or you just had a stressful day at work. It's not going to work, right? You need to be in a calm state of mind where you are feeling good and positive. That's why usually people try to do it during times of meditation, because meditation helps to bring you into a more calm, peaceful state of mind, right? Now, this is not the case for everybody, but I have found that when I don't have anything within my system, it's a lot easier for me to connect over to the other side, because you need to be grounded and you need to be firmly planted into your vessel and onto the ground when you connect over to the other side. And if you have alcohol or caffeine within your body, that often makes you feel very ungrounded. And you kind of have an out-of-body experience a lot of times when you have substances in your body. So I would recommend having no caffeine, no alcohol, no sugar, or at least very little amounts of it, and other stimulants in your system at the time you are trying to connect over, and trying to drink plenty of water too. Water definitely helps you to connect over to the other side. Water is very high vibrational, so it is definitely a conduit to help you to do this. So I'm going to really quickly talk about the 5 Clair senses, because not everybody knows what these are. And then after that, I'm going to show you which one of these is going to be your strength based on your numerology. And then after that, I'm going to show you how to use it in this video. Okay, I'm going to give you examples and we're going to actually practice it in this video. If you already know what these 5 Clair senses are, you can skip ahead if you want. All of the timestamps will be below in the description box. Okay, so clairvoyance is basically clear seeing. That's what it is, right? You are able to see images, symbols, and pictures within your mind. Okay, so you'll get a visual picture within your mind of some sort. This can be images of pictures that are not moving. It can be in movie form where you see, like, you know, a whole movie taking place in front of you, like as if it was like a dream in your mind. And it can also be symbols that are flashed to you, okay, such as colors, numbers, and icons and shapes. Okay, so like an example would be, for me, the number 5 is a symbol for change, usually change to come. So when that number 5 gets flashed in my mind, that is Spirit's way of telling me that some sort of big change is going to be coming for the client that I'm giving a reading to at the time. So now I also get pictures that are flashed within my mind, and these are often in movie form too, where it's like there's like a moving picture within my mind. So pictures and symbols are going to be the easiest part of clairvoyance to develop in the beginning. Some people are able to see spirit in form and how spirit is presenting themselves to them, and that's going to be a more advanced skill. Now, it's important to keep in mind that clairvoyance is something you see in your mind, okay? This is where people get confused, because a lot of people think that you will actually see something as if it was actually physically in front of you, and that's not the case. You are seeing this within your mind, okay? Clairaudience is clear hearing, and that includes being able to hear sounds, music, and words within your own mind's voice or spirit's voice, okay? So I will hear what spirit is telling me, but it will be within my own voice within my head, okay? Almost as if I'm saying it myself, but these are the words coming from spirit. And there are some people that actually hear spirit's voice within their head. For me, it's usually within my own voice, within my head. Now, this can also include a song, lyrics from a song that are playing in your head as well. Okay, spirit often uses the lyrics of songs. They will put certain songs within your head for a reason, okay? That is clairaudience. Claircognizance is clear knowing, and that's having knowledge of people or events that you would not normally have. Okay, so there's no way for you to have this knowledge, but you just know things, right? You just have a knowing and it just comes to you. Or you have flashes of thoughts or flashes of insights that come to you in your mind. That is claircognizance. Clairsentience is clear feeling, and that is feeling a person's or a spirit's emotions or their feelings, or being able to feel either spirits or another person's physical pain. So you are sensing a spirit or another person's energy by picking up on their feelings and their emotional state, right? Or the physical pain that they are in. Clairalience is clear smelling. So you are given smells by spirit, and through those smells, you have a memory, and through that memory, you are able to understand what spirit is trying to tell you. For example, spirit might give you the smell of chocolate chip cookies, and through your memories, you know that spirit is communicating to you childhood, or happiness, or being at home. Clairgustance is clear tasting. So similar to clairalience, you are given a taste, and through that taste you have a memory, and through that memory you understand what spirit is trying to communicate with you. So for example, spirit might give you the taste of chocolate chip cookies, and through that taste you know that what they are trying to communicate with you. So let's find out what's going to be your strength when communicating with spirit by calculating your life path number. It's very easy. It only takes a few seconds. If you already know what this is, you can go ahead and skip to the part of the video where I talk about what your strength is. All of the timestamps will be below in the description box. But to calculate your life path number, all you need to do is take the month, day, and year of your birth, reduce the month of your birth to a single digit by adding all the numbers together, take the day of your birth and add all the numbers together and keep reducing until you get a single digit, and take the year of your birth and add all of the numbers together and keep reducing until you get a single digit. Then you're going to take all three of those numbers and you're going to add them together and keep reducing them, meaning that you're going to keep adding the numbers together until you get a single digit. And that's going to be your life path number. Now, if you get an 11, 22, or 33, you do not add the two numbers together, okay? Meaning you do not reduce them because they are master numbers. So here we have the Clair that's going to be the strongest for you based on your life path number. And after this, I'm going to show you exactly how to use this to communicate with spirit. So keep watching. But I do want to say beforehand that this just indicates what might be the easiest way for you to develop communication with spirit in the beginning, okay? Or it might just indicate what will be the strongest Clair for you going forward, right? Even as you develop your other Clairs as well. Yes, you can develop all of your Clairs, and you absolutely should, okay? And you totally can. So this is not limiting you. It's just showing you how to go about doing it in the beginning and what might be the strongest for you going forward. Claircognizance is going to be either the easiest or the strongest Clair to develop for people with a life path number 1, 5, or 7, because these are what I call the cerebral numbers, and they tend to be in their head processing things a lot of the time. And number 4, because 4 is a very logical, methodical energy. And Master 22, because 22 is a variation of number 4. Clairsentience is going to be either the easiest or the strongest Clair for people with a life path number 2, 6, and 9 to develop, because these are the highly empathic numbers that are highly sensitive and have highly sensitive feelings. And 11 is a variation of number 2, 33 is a variation of number 6, and 22 has double 2s within it. Clairvoyance is going to be either the easiest or the strongest Clair to develop for people with a life path number 1, 3, 7, 8, 11, or 33, because these are what I refer to as the visionary numbers, and they are all either highly imaginative or visionary planners. Clairaudience could possibly be either a strong or easy Clair to develop for life path number 3 and 9, and possibly life path 6, because of the strong auditory and musical gifts that these numbers tend to have. Clairalience and clairgustance are going to be more complicated to develop in the beginning, so I would recommend not developing them at first and developing these Clairs a little bit later on, since they are a little bit more complicated than the other Clairs.
But if you have a strong sense of smell or taste, no matter what your life path number is, you can always try to develop these in the beginning if those senses are very strong for you. Now I'm going to show you how to use your clair strength to communicate with spirit, and keep in mind that this is just one method that you can use. I use other methods as well, but to keep it simple, I'm just going to be showing you one simple, easy method to get you started with communicating with spirit.
Now at this point, I want you to find a calm, comfortable, quiet environment that will help you to relax and be in a very positive, high vibrational state of mind, somewhere where you can relax and rest your body. Sitting down or lying down is going to be the best. You can use essential oils, crystals, tuning forks, solfeggio frequencies, any of those modalities to kind of help get you into a meditative, quiet state of mind. And once you do that, I want you to ask to have your crown chakra blasted open. That's right. You can ask Archangel Metatron. He's usually who I ask. But you can ask God, or you can ask Source Energy. You can ask the universe to blast open your crown chakra as much as it can possibly be blasted open. And after you have asked to have it blasted open, I want you to imagine the top of your head, the crown of your head opening up. And I want you to imagine your consciousness merging with the consciousness of the universe. That's right. Imagine the energy just flowing out and the consciousness of the universe merging in with yours. Because that's what's going to happen. You're going to be merging your consciousness with the universe's consciousness, right? With a higher power. The key here is that you are becoming the electrical cord for the energy. That's what you are when you are channeling messages and when you're communicating with spirit. You're not doing any work at all, right? You're just letting the energy flow through you. That's the key here. You're becoming the electrical cord. You're plugging your cord into the universe, right? And you're just that conduit. You're just the cord allowing the electricity and allowing this energy from the universe to flow through you. So you're not going to do any work, right? You're just going to be that cord. And you're going to open up your consciousness, open up your crown chakra, and merge in with the consciousness. Imagine this happening. Imagine it merging in with the consciousness of the universe. And now that it's open and merged and plugged in like that little, like that little cord, now you can be that channel. Now you can let that electricity just flow through you. I want you to think of a question in your mind, a question that you don't have the answer to. It could be any question at all. And I want you to ask that question to either two sources, okay? You can ask that question to either your guardian angels, or you can ask this question to a famous person or a celebrity throughout history, somebody who has passed away and is no longer with us. So you can choose which of the two you want to use. I would suggest not asking a loved one who has passed away, because in the beginning when you're learning how to channel, if you ask somebody that's really close to you, somebody that you knew a lot about, a question, it just makes it more difficult because you had a relationship with that person. When you've gotten better at doing this and you've practiced and everything, you can definitely tune into people that you love that have passed away, and you can try doing this with them for sure. But in the beginning, you want to not use anybody that you had a relationship with, because it just makes it a little bit more complicated, right? So we're going to be asking this question to either your guardian angels, or it could be a famous person throughout history, somebody who has passed away and is no longer with us. Now, the reason I say that you can use a famous person is because a lot of times with them, they will give you confirmation that you actually communicated with them.
And I wanted to add in there that you might be thinking to yourself, why would a historical famous person want to communicate with me? And at the higher levels in the spiritual world, there is no such thing as separation. We are all connected, and separation is just an illusion that we see in the physical world. But in the spiritual world, spirit sees the truth that we really are all connected and that there is no such thing as separation. So in the spiritual world, there's no hierarchy of somebody being more important than somebody else just because they were famous, and they know that. The hierarchy is just something that humans have created. And if you're going to be communicating with these type of spirits, I would also recommend asking for spiritual protection, to be protected against all lower energies as well.
So I was thinking of Mozart, and I just asked him some questions in my mind, and I was asking him some questions in my mind because there's some things that I wanted to know about him. And we had this communication on a psychic level, and that same exact day I was on Instagram, and this advertisement popped up exactly on the same day that I had this form of communication with him in my mind. Mozart is a pretty random person, right? He lived centuries ago. So why on earth would this advertisement that happened to have his picture in it pop up for me on Instagram? What are the odds of that happening? There are no coincidences, and it happened that same day. So I took that as a clear sign of him basically confirming our conversation. So that's why I say you can use this with a celebrity or somebody famous throughout history, because a lot of times they will actually give you confirmation like that. But you can also use your guardian angels too. So use whichever is comfortable for you. I would recommend trying both. You could try it with both of them. So whatever that question was that you wanted to have answered, you're basically going to ask them this question, and you're just going to sit there and wait for a thought form to pop into your mind. And you're just going to sit there and wait. Just sit there and wait quietly. Sit there as long as you have to until a thought form pops into your mind. Whatever that thought form is, that's going to be your answer. And I would recommend doing something that is not a yes or no question, something that they can elaborate a little bit more on. So like for instance, at work you want to get promoted, but you haven't been promoted yet and you want to know why. You could just ask, guardian angels, why have I not been promoted at work yet? And just sit there quietly and wait for any thought form to pop into your mind. It might take a few minutes, but you will get an answer, right? Some thought form will pop into your mind. But this will be different also depending upon what your numerology is, right? What your numbers are and what your strength is when it comes to communicating with spirit. If you don't understand the answer, or let's say you've been sitting there for a few minutes and, nothing has really popped into your head, maybe something else has popped into your head, but it's not like the answer to the question that you want, you can tell them to give you more support. So you can tell them to slow down. You're not understanding what they're trying to tell you. And the best thing to do is to ask them to give you support using your preferred method. So whatever that is to you. So maybe a thought form has come into your head to answer your question, but you don't understand it, right? Ask them to give you an image to support this, if that is going to be your preferred method based on your numbers. If your preferred method is going to be your clairsentience, right, your feeling and your emotions, then you can ask them to support the answer that they give you with a feeling. And usually they'll give you a memory or something that helps you to have the feeling of what it is that they're trying to tell you.
And with clairsentience, if you have asked a yes or no question, usually you will get a very negative feeling within your body if the answer is no. And you'll get a very positive feeling within your body if the answer to your question is yes. If you're trying to get more support using clairaudience, you could say, I don't understand what you're trying to tell me. Please tell me with words. Or please tell me with a song. And a lot of times they will put a song into your head, right? You'll hear a tune in your head, or they will put the lyrics from a song in your head to try to communicate with you what they want you to know.
The main thing I'm trying to tell you is you need to tell them, if you're not understanding, you need to tell them to give you more support, to make it so that you can understand the message, either because you're not hearing it, or because they're going too fast, or it's something you don't understand. Tell them to support you and to give you more understanding using some other modality. As soon as you understand what it is that they're trying to tell you, I want you to respond in your head. I want you to actually respond to spirit. Give them a response like you would to a friend, right? And then sit and just wait to hear what their response is. Okay, so it will probably come in as the same way that it did the first time. Now that you have clarified to them and you've told them, I need you to give me an image, or I need you to, I need you to say it again, right? Now that they know what your preferred method is, their response to your response will usually be using that. So let's say you've asked Spirit in regards to that question, right? Why haven't I been promoted at work? Let's say the first thought form that pops into your mind is that you're not meant to be at your job, right? Let's just say that that's the first thought form that comes into your mind. Then you could respond to that and you could say, why not? And just wait for a response. Spirit might then put the thought form into your mind, you're meant to do something better, or you're going to be getting a better job, right? So it could be anything. Sometimes when you're sitting there, you can be blocked because you're kind of putting pressure on this to happen. So you might wait a few minutes. If nothing happens, get up, do something else. And then when you're not really thinking about it, then suddenly the thought form comes into your head and it just flows in and they answer your question then. So whenever that happens, whenever it is that they do answer your question, you can respond right away, and you can follow up with Spirit and you can find out exactly why that is. So it doesn't have to stop there. You can continue it, and then you can have this conversation going back and forth with them. And that is how you develop your communication skills with your guardian angels and with the other side. And if you practice doing this every single day, your skills will grow, right? Practice makes perfect. That's the key to anything, right? It's like an athlete. An Olympic athlete doesn't just go to the Olympics, right? They're not just born like that. To become an Olympic athlete, you have to practice every single day. You have to train. It's not easy being an athlete. Think of any skill that you're learning, including psychic development. Think of it like that. The more you practice, the better you're going to become at it. So if you practice these skills on a consistent basis, then you're going to become better and your skills will grow. All of those clairs will start to open up and they will start to develop more and more the more you use it and the more you practice this. And there are some people that are just born like this. They don't really have to develop these skills. They're kind of just born this way, right? Usually those people will have those numbers that I mentioned, the psychic numbers. They usually will have those numbers within their chart, and that's why they're able to do this. But everybody else can do this too, right? You don't have to have those numbers. You just are going to have to practice a little bit more. So be consistent with it. You don't have to practice every single day, but at least try to practice consistently whenever you can. So I hope that this information was helpful to you, and I hope that you were able to use it to develop your God-given psychic abilities, right? And check out that video on my psychic numbers if you haven't already. I'll put a link to it below in the description box. Let us know in the comments below if you have these gifts and how have you been able to develop them, and what are you planning to do to make your gifts even stronger. Let us know in the comments below. And if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and share it with other people. It really helps to get this information out there when you do that. And these videos are a monster for me to make. And if you want to get a personal reading with me, you can head on over to my website, starsalignwithcarmen.com. I would love to have you subscribe and to become part of the family. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Thanks for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.